Welcome to Rising's highlights of the SAP SuccessFactors second half 2021 Employee Central release. My name is Shannon Ippolito, and I'm the Senior Solution Expert in the Managed Services team with Rising. And I'm joined here with Mariam.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Mariam Abtahi, and I'm a SAP consultant here at Rising. Today, me and Shannon, we're going to do SAP Employee Central platform release regarding second half 2021. So Shannon, I remember that you were so excited about the homepage, new homepage actually features, and all those gaps that we had previously, which are all closed right now. So would you like to go through the new homepage features first?
Yes, I am very excited. I love the new look and feel of the homepage, but we did have previous gaps, especially for our Employee Central clients. Those were the ones where some of those gaps that we've seen in this year really were impacted, but those are no longer. So a few of the ones that I'm really excited about is the fact that we now have a My Team tile for the managers. That was a big thing where, again, from a user experience, being able to have your My Team card right there, quickly review your direct reports and jump straight into either jumping to their goal plan or jumping right into EC and taking transactions on them, promoting them, changing their pay, etc. That was a huge gap and a huge miss for me. The other one is for those clients who have full time off. So not time off for leave of absence, but really you're using it for vacation, PTO, sick, your accruals. Now having the team absence card as well. That was another one. You want to be able to have that quick glance of your team and who's going to be out upcoming. So that is now available as well. And then a few of the other minor ones is that from a quick action card at the top half of the homepage, currently it was set to 8 maximum. Now they've increased that for 16. So that really, for our full suite customers, is going to make all the difference in the world. Because again, those cards are dynamic to the end user. So they're going to come and go as processes happen. But at the same time, many processes are throughout the whole year. So you need to have enough space there in order to see, all of your upcoming things to do. Also, just a few other minor things is the header banner, which is an image that you can configure to be your image. It takes up a good bulk of real estate on that homepage. So they do allow you to now configure to not show that banner image if you want to have more space. Maybe again, some clients that have less modules don't need to, or less custom cards, it's not a problem. But those who want to have a lot more on that page, you can go ahead and hide that. And then you can order now, put the order in for your custom cards. So the custom cards are on the bottom half of the page. You can set the order in which you see those and going across the screen. So that's nice. And then lastly, one of them is the fact that now you have a special section in Theme Manager. So you can also adapt some of your theme colors to those homepage cards as well. So that is really exciting for those who have really built and created their success factors to their brand of their organization. Right. So those were some of the highlights for me. So I know there's a few additional things, especially for our EC clients. What are some things that you have seen on the homepage that you're excited to see the gaps closed?
Yeah, actually, the first thing that I really noticed is, that workflow approvals that, previously it was really not configured in the homepage. So whenever they, any clients, they enable the homepage, they still need to go to that, small icon, to do icon on top of the page and click on that to see the approval. Right now, it is available in the homepage. So any workflows coming for approval, they can see it there. As well as if sent back workflows, they can see the sent back one there. It's very important, those approvals which are in process, they also can see that one. And the other thing which is more nice is the delegation, auto delegation. So users can now actually respond to auto delegation as well as seeing upcoming and ongoing, auto delegation if it is enabled in their workflow. So I think, for organization who use this feature in their workflows, it is very, very nice to have all these features together in their homepage. And one thing about connection the homepage to third-party content, So right now they have 3 ways to show or display third-party content. So popover video, popover inline frame, as well as even JavaScript coding. So they can have all these 3 options to display third-party content there in the homepage. And another gap, Shannon, is fixed now. And this, if you remember, instance refresh did not support homepage previously. So right now it is supporting the new homepage. So if they have, I mean, previously, if they enable the homepage and they want to request the refresh, they cannot go through admin center. They have to request it through SAP, but right now it is available there. The only thing that, you know, we need to mention here is, so if, you know, for testing, you just, as an organization, you just enable homepage in preview and not in production yet. So obviously, when you refresh from production to preview, you will lose that feature, right, in the preview. But that's good. We have it there, and we don't need to go through SAP request for, you know, instance refresh when we have the homepage enabled. And the last thing I want to add here, because we're talking about the homepage and platform, it's about the SAP Fiori header. So this one, maybe some users already noticed that in their preview instance, that the search bar is not there, and they have to click on that magnifying, you know, icon to display the search bar, as well as the option, you know, to hide the Fiori header is not available there. So it means that it is mandatory and universal now that everybody, you know, have to use the Fiori header.
Yes, yes. And then that search box has caused quite a stir amongst a lot of customers. But again, it's to keep it consistent throughout the SAP suite of products itself. Every application has that same kind of Fiori header, but for, I think, for SuccessFactors users, you're used to just having the box there and clicking in it instead of having to remember to click on the icon. So again, change, but it's for such a minor change, it's
yeah, it is, because, you know, you used to have that search bar there, and maybe it's not for first day. Maybe
and depending, I'm going to throw a note in there, depending upon a customer's theming, it's you know, because before it was easier to see the box, you know, depending upon, you know, we see a lot of customers' themes, and sometimes depending upon the colors you have, it's, you know, kind of hard to see that magnifying glass at the top.
Kind of hidden there. Then they have to work on the theme setting to change the color there to make sure that it's see better. Yeah, I had some clients that reach out to me for that. Oh, where is the search bar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So here that you're talking about platform, just wanted to mention about background elements, Shannon. So right now, SAP introduced a new validation for background element configuration. So let's say that if they have a misconfiguration and have the same value for data field and background element ID, right now this validation works, and, you know, it throughout an error. So this is an important thing for our clients, that it's need to be fixed before, you know, moving the release into production. So they need to actually make tests in a preview, make sure that they don't have any misconfiguration in this part. And if there's any, they need to work with their partner to actually fix this issue. And I think we previously talked about some new features in platform regarding purge requests. Would you like to go through that, whatever you see and it was interesting for you?
For the purge requests? Yeah. So one of the big things with the purge request is that now there is the change audit report that will cover the purge request piece. And so by that, so those two customers who are very into running those audit reports, if you don't know about the audit reporting tool, the change audit reports, I highly recommend that you, first of all, go get into more documentation, reach out to a partner, reach out to us to understand that. I do have many customers who don't even have the change audit turned on yet in their instance. But for those that do and know what we're talking about, there's now a change audit report for data purging. So in the data retention management, you can now run an audit report that will track who approved the purge request, and if even a purge request got deleted in that monitor, if a report got deleted, you'll be able to have all of that audit information, which again is really key for some customers who have very strict compliance processes within their system. So that's pretty exciting. Was there anything else in the, I think there were maybe a few other items in the.
Yeah, in the purge request itself. So right now, actually, they added some guide and SAP links. So for some admins or user, when they go in and they want to process the purge request, it gives a better understanding and, you know, all the description and guidelines in one place. So they have them all in data retention management tool. And the new feature, which I think SAP added for adding more security into this process, is, you know, you can't be the purge requester as well as the purge approver. So if a user, you know, go in and request for a purge, they cannot, you know, anymore, they cannot add themselves as the approver, and they have to select another admin or user to be the purge approver, which I like it, not bad.
It makes sense, right? Yeah. You shouldn't probably be the approver for the purge. It's good processes to have that other approver. But I know sometimes, like when we're in a test instance and we just want to quickly do something, it's just quicker to put ourselves. But that's absolutely.
Yeah, the whole process is critical and not bad if, you know, 2%, you know, review that instead of one, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Shannon, I have seen that item, deprecation of job information fields. So SAP just announced that they're going to delete some job information fields, which they think that, you know, most of the clients, they don't use it or they're old. So honestly, you know, when I went through my clients' review process, I didn't see that, you know, most of them had lots of these fields that SAP introduced. But again, some clients still use, you know, these fields such as manager, HR manager, or pay group. You know, pay group is something that I think most of them have. So it is very important that they work, you know, with their partner and follow the SAP guide. To see, you know, what they need to do, because it's going to be deleted by next release.
Correct. And I really do want to emphasize that pay group item, because most Employee Central customers who have ECP, Employee Central Payroll, or SAP Replication, and any other integrations. I know we have a customer that has with Workforce Software, they utilize that pay group field from job information. So there's also the pay group field in comp info, like it lives in two places, which has always been a confusing point.
Exactly.
But again, so this release, they're announcing that they're deprecating those fields in job information. And then, like Mariam just said, they will be deleting those fields in May of next year as of right now. That's the schedule. So it is really critical in the next few months to really look at that, the impacts and the mitigation you need to do, right? Because you're going to have to move into the comp info, and that's going to impact all of your integrations and replications and such. So really, really key to understand that one, because to your point, like a lot of those fields are really old from the origins of Employee Central, that just manager and HR manager, like that's a good one to know, that manager was replaced with a different field that we know of today, the manager ID field. The HR manager was moved into the job relationships, right? So they kind of moved into other places, but this pay group field is still quite a big one for some clients.
Yeah, for sure.
So good call out for that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And coming to admin alert, Shannon, you know, they're going to delete admin alert, I mean, legacy admin alert, and rename the admin alert to admin alert. So
not to be confusing or anything.
Again, I didn't see much clients still using the, you know, the old admin alert, honestly, but it is good to know. And they have added some features to admin alert, that you have the option to do mass action, you know, for all admins, which is related to you and your job. So you have that checkbox over there. You can select all, and, you know, whatever you want to do, you can do in mass. As well as, you know, it gives admin the option to add custom fields and add, you know, few columns to the admin alert report. So not bad, you know, for admins or users to know more about the admin alert in one place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I will also, again, it's one of those features that I think not many customers know about. So again, if this isn't ringing any bells for you as an admin and seeing that in Admin Center, seeing that tile, I highly encourage you to look up more information for that, because again, it's going to give you a lot of information on, data issues, stalled workflows. I mean, there's a lot of things in there, time off pieces that, there may be errors or such that you need to resolve. And again, they're just growing and enhancing this tile to be very robust and very helpful tool for admins. It's a permission. So if you don't see it, it is in your permissions to set to your permission role. And again, I just highly encourage everyone to start utilizing that. So you may have seen it and not used it, or you haven't even seen it. So I definitely encourage you to go take a look at that.
Yeah, I understand. So jumping from here to people profile, I saw this item very interesting and very useful and helpful for especially managers that, in the compensation information portlet, if clients, they enable that salary vs team widget. So right now, the comparison between the employee that you're looking at their profile with the peers in their team, this comparison is in one currency right now. So previously it shows, if the peers were in different, locations, each of them, had their currency in that widget. But right now it shows that comparison under the one currency, which is the currency of the employee who you are looking at their profile, which is, I found it very, very helpful for managers.
Yes, absolutely. And so another thing, I'm actually going to jump back to platform, keep it mixed up here between platform and Employee Central. A few things also with regards to some platform items that impacts, not impacts, but all clients, is the manage login accounts.
Yeah.
So there has been, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't know about it until this release. There has been a place called Manage Login Accounts. So we have like the reset, for those who are not single sign-on, right? This doesn't impact you so much if you're not a single, or if you are a single sign-on client. But we know about reset users' passwords. We know about resetting users' accounts. We know about changing user names in the profile. Or if you are a partial SSO, you can set the login method at the profile level or do an import. But now there is this place, and it's been there, it's just been read-only, called Manage Login Accounts. Now it's editable. So that's really going to be your one-stop shop now for managing those places. So you can change the user's passwords there. You can change the username if you need to. You can change the login method there. Everything is nicely right in one place. So again, one of those small things, but from an admin perspective, I think that's really nice that they have that there, instead of having to hunt and peck and go all around.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the other one, again, a minor thing, but more for admins, the execution manager. So execution manager is the place where you can grab the logs for any integration center, integration, or any other middleware may show up there, as well as you can see some provisioning jobs there, like the HRIS sync. It's a big one for EC, and some candidate things for recruiting. Currently, the default is you can go back 30 days. So you can grab logs from 30 days ago. They're now changing that. It's now going to be 15 days. So I personally would like to see it more days, but that's me. Sometimes I've had to go back like, oh no, it was almost 2 months ago and I can't find it. But they are changing it to 15 days. However, we can override that in provisioning and put it back to 30 days. So if this is something that is resonating to you, please reach out, and a partner who has access to provisioning can update that to 30 days. Because again, 15 is, it's kind of, sometimes you do need to see a log, from before. So again, a few more platform items. So what else from an Employee Central?
So from yeah, sure. So let me just take a look from the items that I would like to talk about. Very helpful again for managers or admins is that now they can add one-time deduction for even inactive or terminated users. So it is a very helpful in scenarios where an employee leaves company or terminate in the company, but they have some devices that they needed to bring back, but they forgot. So it's a very good one that managers can use of and create one-time deduction for those terminated users.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I noticed, and it is very nice to keep the data and history record very consistent, is that SAP prevents now to make changes to specific event record. So let's think about the job information portlet, that we have the job information history. So previously, by clicking on that clock icon, which we call in history, you can go in and edit everything in the record, even the event, right? But right now, for specific events such as hire, rehire, and termination, this option is no longer available, and they cannot go in, and change this specific event. So they need to go through take action or prepare an import file to import the job history. So I like it. It keeps the system very clean and data consistency when you're looking at the job information records. So this is something I noticed, and it's very interesting.
Yes, and like you said, it's really to help customers help themselves. Especially if you're just new into, you just recently implemented, it's a lot to remember, it's a lot to understand. And I know I have gotten the question so many times of them customers asking, like, when I go into history, why do I see all of these other events, right? Like, why do I see a hire event? Why do I see a termination event? And I always say, don't touch them. Exactly. Just because you can see it doesn't mean you should use it. Like, use the proper process, use the proper hire process, use the proper actions, termination process. But some would, right? If they can see it, you're going to have some people who are going to use it, and then your data gets all messed up, and then trying to clean that up after they take that transaction is then a little bit more painful too. So yeah, I am also excited to see this. And again, to clarify, and I know I've seen some confusion out there, you can still edit a row, you just can't change the event there or insert a record. So if you do need to go to a higher row that's there in history and correct a cost center, you can still do that. You just can't change that hire to be something else or insert a row to rehire, like, why would you do that? But so yeah. No, it's a nice one.
What else you saw and you want to share with us, Shannon?
Yeah. So another one that I like is in position management. So for EC clients that have position management, if you have if you do not have event derivation, so that's where the system's not figuring out the event for you, you select it. And if in your position management settings, there's a setting there for assign direct reports according to the hierarchy. If that is set to yes always or yes optional, if we have all of those settings, and position is your leading hierarchy, so not reporting, position is leading. When you terminate somebody, again, highly questioned process, right? When you terminate somebody and you have that section that says transfer, which people get confused by that verbiage anyway, and you have your list of event reasons, we can never consolidate that list. We can't limit the list, right? I mean, you see pay rate change and there is a reason that a user could select. But now if those conditions are met, so no event derivation, you have that that assigned direct report set to yes, and positions you're leading, that's a read only. So that event reason that you're going to see there is whatever event reason you have in your position management settings. So I think that is going to be a huge win for those clients who are having issues with end users selecting some random event reason that didn't make sense. I mean, there was a lot of training around that. So for those clients, if you have event reason derivation, that process is already happening anyway for you through that business rules. And those who have no set there, I would ask you to take that step back and reevaluate that process, right? I mean, why not set it so that you have that consistency across the board, so that when you look at somebody's job history, you're going to know that they transferred because a manager terminated, right? Like, you know that that's the reason why, and it's not, you know, something else. And again, allowing users to pick some event reason that doesn't make sense at all. So that's one that they didn't make many enhancements to position management, but this one I think is a pretty
very important
good one.
Yeah, and it's very nice. You know, I think SAP is trying to help clients to have their data, you know, consistent and clean. You know, this is very good. You know, from the organizational perspective, it is very important. You know, to have all the event reasons, you know, categorized, you know, list. It's very helpful for them. So. I think you know that they have added a new field to legal entity for name format. So right now, you know, they can choose, I mean, clients, they can choose to have legal entity, I mean, a name format for different legal entities. So previously we didn't have this, it was global. Right now, the legal entity name format is there, but again, if they want to have all the name formats globally, there is an option in company system and logo setting that they can select. So globally use the name format in configure people profile. So it's going to overwrite the name format in the legal entity. But if they don't use this option in company system and logo setting, then the name format for each legal entity will apply. Which is, I think, very nice, you know, to keep, you know, the legal entities union, or even they choose, you know, the global setting for all the name formats.
Yes, nice.
Yeah. What else do you think about?
So one other minor thing, but if you're an admin that goes into manage business configuration, and for anybody that saw last release where I was talking about EC items, there's last release they introduced a new section in managed business configuration for the HRIS sync mappings.
Yeah.
So previous to that, you had to know which fields and had to go find the fields and see the mapping. They presented a page which was wonderful and amazing, because from a data model XML perspective, it was always at the bottom in one place. So it was easy for us to always see the mappings, but from a customer end, it was hard. So they had this page, and I predicted, we can all go back to the video. I predicted that hopefully they would make that editable in the next release, and here we are. So the HRIS sync mappings in managed business configuration is now editable. You can update your mappings, you can add your mappings. You don't have to go and manage everything at that field level. So again, not that you're changing your sync mappings very often, obviously, right? I mean, that's not something we normally do unless you introduce a new field or something like that. But it's just nice that
you have access.
They heard me and they said, oh, you know what? Shannon said that, so we're going to add that in.
Yeah, you know,
I'm going to take credit for it.
So yeah, I saw, you know, some clients, they have more technical admins, which they really like to know what's going on in the background. So it gives them a very good understanding, you know, of the mapping between the EC and people profile, which is really nice. So for those admins, I have another one actually that they can see, you know, right now we have monitor jobs, right, in admin center. That, you know, admin even can see the import and export data process results, import employee data results. You know, for these jobs, they can go through monitor jobs. So right now there is another tool introduced in admin center, which they can see the process and the status of the provisioning jobs. So for all the scheduled jobs from provisioning, they can see, you know, the status, the details, you know, about the processing of this job. So I think those technical admin will be happy. And as well as something around the corporate data model and CSF corporate data model. So in previous release, SAP SuccessFactors added to admin center that you can, you know, export the data models, but not the corporate data model right now. Corporate data model and the CSF corporate data model both are accessible from admin center. So, you know, anybody which is admin, they can actually see all the uploaded version, previous uploaded versions of these data models, you know, from admin center.
Yes. Yes. And again, that's a huge thing for audit as well, right? That we've been seeing these data models being introduced to the admin center and
Yeah.
tracking when someone is importing and exporting them. That's just huge from an audit perspective. Not only to see who's doing what, but also if there is an issue, you have that history and you can pull out the old one, before a change was made or something. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
really nice that they've added that in. And another thing I want to add actually to the new place to monitor the provisioning jobs is not only will it show you your schedule of your current ones, but you can see the waiting jobs as well. So
Yes.
oftentimes, customers have asked us, one, what are all my jobs in provisioning? Well, now you can go look yourself, but also seeing my waiting jobs. If you need to know when your next HRIS sync is running, you'll be able to click on that tab. Like the UI is just really nice. It's better. It's better than monitor job. I know
Yes,
we
I
all
know.
have our issues with the monitor job UI.
Yeah, it's not user friendly, honestly.
But this new one is much more. It's got tabs. It just looks nicer. It's got a good feel. So excited to see this and start using that and making clients having access to that. Because to your point, we have some very tech savvy folks out there who want to see it all and get it all, and now it's available. So
yeah, thank you for adding these items. So Shannon, I just remember two minor changes, but it can be really helpful for some clients. So, for those clients that they have the generate documents enabled, right now, if they were looking into that, like some of my clients that they always ask me, so there is an option to remove the page number. Let's say that when they generate a letter of employment, from the generate document tool. So previously there was no option to delete that small page number. So right now they can delete that because it makes sense when you just issue one page of letter of employment. So you don't need to have that one down there. So.
Right, because it makes it look like you're missing pages.
Exactly.
Right? Like if you see that one, be like, well, was there another one after it? Why do you have one here? Is there a 2? Is there a 3? Yeah. So I agree that again, those minor changes just actually are quite impactful.
Yeah, maybe when you see it in the release, right? You said, oh, it's not nothing. But honestly, I had this request from my clients several times. And when you know about that, oh, it's a good one, not really minor.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other one, which is minor, but again, maybe some of the clients maybe notice it until now in the previous instances, that when you go to import employee data and you want to download the template, let's say for job information, previously you had to select at least one country or region, right, to be able to download the template. So right now, SAP remove this restriction. So without selecting any country or region, you can download a global job information template, which is
that is nice, especially for clients who may only be in one country. Because like if you're trying to download a template but aren't trying to update any of the country specific fields, you still had to have the country there. But it just I'm also that again, it's one of the small things, but quite actually impactful. And along those lines, also just another small thing, but it has to do with importing data, is so again, this may not be as known. So in company system and logo settings, you have a bunch of check marks that allow you to have different validations. Whether like in payment information, you can have different bank validations and
national ID, address.
Exactly. So with the address one, so if you have address validation turned on, what that does through the UI is there are specific countries, hard-coded country validations for specific countries. But for example, in the United States, it validates that you have 5 or 9, because we can have 5 or 9 for our zip codes. In Canada, it does by province, because different provinces have their different, certain numbers, letters, etc. So for specific countries, if you have that checked on, it does that for you, right? Now, if you have address validation, that also now applies to imports. So this is a big thing, especially in the United States. And again, if you're already live, you may not be importing addresses very often, unless maybe you have an acquisition, right? But from an implementation perspective, in the US, for US addresses, that was one of the biggest data issues, because we have zip codes that start with a 0.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we all know when you have a CSV file
Leading
and you have a
zeros.
leading zero, if you do something wrong to that file, you lose your. So then we were having zip codes with 4 numbers instead of 5. Well, this address validation is going to stop that import.
Yeah.
So then hopefully those who have leading zeros will no longer see that issue. So again, if you don't have those validations turned on, strongly encourage you to read up on it, reach out to us for any assistance on that, because it is very, very helpful to, again, keep your data clean, consistent, correct, and don't have these issues. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Very nice. Yeah. I like it.
excited about that. Yep.
Okay. So I think we have covered most of the important and new features. Do you have anything to add?
You know what? I do have one more thing here on my list. Again, just some minor updates. So last release, SAP introduced a new tool for mass data management.
Oh, yeah.
And right now it's only for positions, for mass updating positions. If you ask me, there's still a few gaps there that are known, but hopefully, again, future releases. But what was introduced with this release for that is that now there's filters. So if you haven't explored the mass data management, there are filters you put in there so that you can find the positions you want to go update.
Right.
If a position had an inactive value on it, you couldn't filter on that inactive value. For example, a position has a department that became inactive, right? So they went to manage data, they inactivated the department. Position still has that value on it. You want to go mass update all the positions that have this inactive value. You couldn't previous filter for that. Now you can. So now the filters will show active and inactive values so that you can grab those positions. So that's the one thing. That's a good gap that they filled there. And then the other one is that now you can update or create matrix relationships. So if you do need to change, a group of positions to a new HR manager you have set up as a matrix manager, new HR position, you can do that through the mass data management. You cannot delete those relationships, but you can change and create them. So again, another good enhancement that they've made to that tool. I'm excited to see what more comes in the next release as well.
Yeah, it is very helpful for those clients who have position management enabled. Can be a very helpful tool.
Yes, it gives it a good UI feel versus having to do it through an import of data. Because again, when you get into that importing of data, something goes wrong on your file you're importing, that kind of potential
not easy.
risk there, right? So yeah, I think that was that my last item? I think I had on mine.
Yeah, for me, I actually went through all the items that I had in my list.
Yeah, I think we hit all the big ones. Again, so many release items. I know if you look in the What's New viewer for Employee Central, it has over 100 items on them. Many of the things are very technical items, I think, were on there. And then, there's a few enhancements, minor things that we didn't necessarily talk about because they are very specific scenarios to a few clients, not general populations of clients. But of course, Rizing is happy to help you in your journey. And if you have questions or need assistance, please reach out. And again, I think this was a good release. Yay, homepage. So again, I encourage everyone, if you have not enabled it, I would say after your year-end processes are done, start looking at that in January, turn it on in a test instance. Not in a test instance you want to refresh anytime soon, as Mariam mentioned. Turn it on because it is a big change management and it is being universal in May. So I say you want control as a customer when you are going to roll that out. You do not want to wait for the universal because again, you have a lot of communication and change management to handle internally. So
and one thing that I want to add, Shannon, here, it's very good that the homepage is can control by permission. So they can even enable it in preview and just give permission to a group of admins, group of managers. Right?
Yeah.
So not everybody, get involved in the very new big change in the system. So you can just give access to those people to make sure how it works, get their feedback, how it works for you to configure which, features you want to use, which item you want to enable. So we actually time flies and it's going to be universal soon. So it's better to go through that sooner.
Yes, we're already here at the end of 2021, which is just mind blowing to me. So yeah, May will be here before we know it. Absolutely.
I know, and because most of the big gaps is closed now. So like the manager team card and lots of these things is fixed. So it's very good to go and giving it a try.
100%
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you,
All
Shannon.
right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you,
for-
Mariam, so much for joining. Thank you, everyone watching. We truly appreciate it, and have a great rest of your 2021.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.